So I have great news. I love to share great news. I'm an optimistic and positive person. But the great news is that USCIS wait times have decreased, and they're decreasing across the board. It might not feel like it. What in the world of immigration, fast might still mean many months, but USCIS just published information about fiscal year 2023. They received 10,900,000 applications. That's insane, mind-blowing. And they actually were able to catch up on their backlog, and they were able to process and make decisions on 10 million cases. So you're probably thinking, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm checking the wait times and I'm still seeing 15 months for a fiancé visa, for example. But this is great news because USCIS did announce at the start of 2023 that they were hiring and training more immigration officers. They were making their processes more efficient. They still have room to grow, for sure. And that they were taking steps to decrease wait times and backlogs. So what does that mean? What does that look like? What are we actually seeing for our clients and for wait times? So we have noticed all of these applications: fiancé visas, spouse visas, work permits, adjustment of status green card applications, and naturalization applications. We are noticing decreased wait times. For example, yes, online the fiancé visa is saying about 15 months, give or take estimate. We are actually starting to see decisions coming in less than 10 months for some of our clients. Same with I-130 petitions. Work permits, we're actually starting to see clients getting work permits in less than 2 months, which is fantastic. Green card applications, same thing. We're seeing, as long as you're submitting a super strong application, meeting all the requirements, our clients are getting their interviews waived, and we're getting green cards in about 6 to 8 months. Naturalization has been one of the fastest and one of the biggest changes that we're seeing. It used to take upwards of a year to get a decision on a naturalization application, and now most of our clients are receiving an interview and a decision in less than 6 months, and they're doing the oath ceremony the same day as the interview, so it's shaving off additional months of time. We represent clients all over the United States, and some of these case types depend on where you're living, but we really are seeing wait times decreasing. Please understand there's so many factors, right, that go into an immigration case, including where your file lands in the queue and which officer is assigned to your case. And so it could still take a little more time, but we're definitely seeing decisions coming in much faster. So this is great news. We're hoping to see that immigration continues on this trajectory. And they have said that for 2024, for this year, they are continuing to implement more and more procedures for efficiency, hiring and training immigration officers, and they're dedicated to decreasing wait times and in other application types. Specifically, provisional waivers and waiver applications. Those are extremely high wait times, more than 2 or 3 years in most cases. And so they are working on that next. So hope. I had a conversation, or I did a video about this topic at the same time last year, and was saying this is what USCIS is doing, and they're promising decreased wait times. And I'm happy to report that we are seeing a year later that is holding true. So great news all around. And then, and Lisa said, wow, on the decreased wait times. I know, I'm excited. Our team, we have meetings on a regular basis and talk about our clients' cases, and we always get excited when we see cases coming in sooner, because that means our couples can start their lives together sooner. All right. So again, for those of you who are just joining, we do have a free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com, and we have tons of videos, charts about the different options that are available to couples, the process, and how to prove your relationship. So check that out if you're needing any support in your immigration journey. All right. So let me see if I have any questions here. I do have, it looks like I have one here. Oh, give me 1 second. I have a lot of things. The chat's blowing up, and let me pick one. Okay. Oh, this is a good question. So Brian, thanks for your question. Remote. So you're talking about the online Utah wedding and how that would impact a spouse visa case that you're getting frustrated with the complex and expensive process of getting married in Honduras? Would a marriage license from a U.S. state raise red flags when my fiance has never been to the U.S. and has never had a visa? This is such a good question because I actually had on my podcast Reverend Heron. She actually performs these virtual weddings in Utah. And so these virtual weddings actually even started before the pandemic, which is fantastic. They were looking for ways to make it easier for couples to get married. She performs weddings. She's performed thousands of virtual weddings. And a lot of times she's having to perform these weddings for couples who maybe can't get legally married in the country where they're living, specifically in the context of same-sex marriages. And then you're right. There are countries like Honduras, Colombia. There's many countries where it's a whole paperwork labyrinth in and of itself. It can take months sometimes to get through all of it to be able to get married. And so the online wedding is actually a great option. From an immigration standpoint, we do help couples go through and successfully complete the spouse visa process, even if they've had one of these virtual weddings. There are things you need to be aware of. When it is a virtual wedding, immigration is still looking to see that you've been physically together after the wedding. Typically, it's ideal that you are physically together for that wedding, even though it's virtual. So so someone like Reverend Heron would be on a Zoom call with you, but the two of you would be on your Zoom screen together. You'd be physically together for this. And so we've helped many, many couples successfully go through the immigration process using this option. And we'd be happy to help you if you don't already have an attorney and you're looking at that as an option and want to know more. Feel free to book a consultation with me and we can definitely talk about what that looks like. But thank you for the question. And I will also post a link to that podcast episode so you can learn more about the actual marriage process through Utah and more about Reverend Heron. All right. So let's see. Do I have any other questions here? Oh, Lisa, you always have good questions. I appreciate your questions. So what is advanced parole? So advanced parole is really asking immigration for permission to leave the United States. It's used in a couple different situations, actually more than a couple. It's used for a lot of different things. The most common one, the one that would come up in situations of couples, is in something called adjustment of status. So adjustment of status is the process that happens here in the United States where a couple would be filing their petition to show that they have a real relationship and an application for the green card. And also in the context of a fiancé visa, that next step when you get here on your fiancé visa is filing for your green card for adjustment of status. When you have an adjustment of status application pending with USCIS, you are required to stay physically present in the United States. If you were to leave the United States, you would be considered to have abandoned your application. Sadly, that's one of the top things that I've seen where couples who've done their case on their own didn't realize and didn't know that they needed to file for advanced parole and had left maybe on a honeymoon, or they had an obligation in another country and they thought they could leave and come back. But you can't unless you ask for permission and get that travel permit is what it's called, advanced parole approved, that would allow you to travel while your application is pending. Advanced parole is also something that we use a lot for clients who maybe have temporary protected status or DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, the Dreamers. Their status is that they have a lawful status here in the United States, but their status is tied to them being physically present. So they actually have to ask permission before they leave the country. So that's another way that we use advanced parole or a travel permit, allowing an individual to travel. Okay, so that's the 30,000 foot view. It's much more complex than that. The immigration always is, but hopefully that is clear as to exactly what advanced parole is. Great question. Good morning, Anna. It's great to have you here. It's so great to see everyone. There's so many people who've joined us. And again, it's been great to see all of the new viewers as well. And one final time, I just want to remind everyone of our free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. I don't have any other questions in the queue, so I'll be signing off and wishing all of you a very happy Tuesday and a really great week. And I will see all of you again next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And Lisa, you're very welcome. All right, everyone, take care. Oh, you have a wonderful day too, Maria. Thank you so much. Have a great week.